In the stillness between night and dawn, just before sunlight washes the horizon, there is a brief moment when the universe feels weightless and paused. For centuries, humanity looked upward during such moments and saw only mystery. Today, in an age of satellites, sensors, and digital networks, that mystery has transformed into something entirely different, a new and unforgiving domain of warfare. The evolving role of the Space Force in modern conflict is not a legend preserved in books or monuments. It is a story unfolding right now, above our heads, where silent machines orbit the Earth and observe the world with precision instruments. What once belonged to the imagination of science fiction has become a strategic reality, one that shapes national security, global stability, and the future of technology. In the early decades of space exploration, the region above Earth was calm. Satellites served simple purposes: monitoring weather, relaying signals, supporting navigation. Militaries depended on them, but few expected these systems to become central targets in future conflicts. Yet, as global reliance on space-based infrastructure grew, so did the vulnerability of modern societies. Satellite networks now support everything from aviation and banking to disaster response, communication, agriculture, and global navigation. A single disruption can spread confusion across continents. The realization that space systems form the backbone of modern civilization forced governments to rethink their strategies. It became clear that protecting space assets was no longer optional, it was essential. This realization sparked the rapid evolution of space-focused military branches. What began as small units within air forces expanded into specialized organizations with engineers, analysts, strategists, and operators working around the clock. Their mission grew beyond simply managing satellites. They were now responsible for defending them, maneuvering them, and ensuring their survival in an increasingly contested environment. Space is unlike any other battlefield. There are no trenches or smoke trails. Instead, conflict unfolds silent and invisible, at extreme speeds, where a single collision can create debris capable of damaging critical systems. One miscalculation can trigger a chain reaction with consequences that last decades. As nations developed technologies capable of disabling, jamming, or even destroying satellites, the need for active protection became urgent. Satellites were redesigned to perform evasive maneuvers, shifting through orbital paths to avoid threats. Constellations of smaller satellites were deployed to create redundancy, ensuring that the loss of one would not cripple essential services. Yet advanced hardware alone cannot secure the space domain. Human expertise, instinct, analysis, and creative problem-solving remains vital. The men and women serving in space forces come from diverse technical backgrounds: physics, engineering, cybersecurity, flight operations, and data science. Together, they watch over the invisible systems that keep the modern world functioning. Their screens display lines and coded signals. But to trained eyes, these markings tell a story. A slight shift might indicate a satellite changing orbit. A sudden loss of signal might signal interference or a cyber breach. In a domain where silence can mean danger, their vigilance is critical. The space domain awareness, the ability to detect, track, and assess every object in orbit, has become the central heartbeat of the Space Force. Tens of thousands of objects circle the Earth: operational satellites, retired platforms, fragments from past missions, and orbital debris. Amid this crowded environment, specialists must identify abnormalities, predict collisions, and respond to emerging threats before they escalate. Cyber warfare adds another layer of complexity. Attacks on space systems no longer require physical force. They can be launched through digital pathways, silently and remotely. A well-targeted intrusion can disrupt communications, manipulate data, or seize control of critical systems. Space forces have become defenders not only of orbiting hardware but of the digital architecture that supports it. The rise of commercial space companies further transformed the landscape. Private rockets, commercial imaging platforms, and global communication constellations now play major roles in both civilian and military operations. Cooperation between governments and the commercial sector has become essential. These partnerships integrate resources, expand capabilities, and enhance resilience, though they also require careful coordination and cybersecurity safeguards. As geopolitical tensions increase, space has become a crucial domain of deterrence. Nations test technologies that can interfere with satellites, shadow them, or obscure their functions. Yet open conflict in space remains something every nation seeks to avoid, because debris created in orbit can threaten all spacecraft, regardless of origin. A single destructive event could disrupt global systems for decades. This reality demands a strategic balance, demonstrating defensive capability without triggering escalation. Space forces must project strength carefully, preventing conflict through preparedness rather than aggression. Looking forward, the scope of space operations continues to expand. Future missions may extend into cislunar space, the vast region between Earth and the Moon. Potential lunar bases, mining operations, and scientific outposts could require protection. Some envision defense responsibilities stretching even farther. As human exploration reaches Mars and beyond, ideas that once sounded impossible now resemble early blueprints for the next era of human expansion. Technological advancement accelerates these possibilities. Artificial intelligence may soon help satellites predict threats. Autonomous repair vehicles could service damaged systems in orbit. Hypersonic weapons may reshape detection and defense strategies. Yet, as new capabilities emerge, so does the need for responsibility, regulation, and international cooperation at its core. The purpose of the Space Force is not to fuel conflict but to preserve stability. Modern life depends on the seamless flow of satellite data navigation, timing, communication, and observation systems that support billions of people worldwide. Without these systems, daily life would slow to a standstill. Space forces safeguard these unseen connections. Their work is often quiet, distant, and unrecognized, but its impact is felt every time a GPS navigation system works, a communication network stays online, or a weather warning saves lives. Ultimately, the story of the evolving role of space forces is a story of human resilience and responsibility. It is about protecting the infrastructure that keeps society functioning, even when the threats are invisible and the battlefield stretches into the vacuum above Earth. As long as humanity reaches outward into space, the duty to safeguard it will continue to grow. Space is not just a frontier, it is a reflection of our creativity, ambition, and determination. And in this new era, those who watch the skies are shaping the future of everyone who lives below.